Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I hope all of you are well. Okay, first let me introduce myself. My name is Laila Puspita Anggraini from class 5F. Okay everyone, in this video, I will discuss one of the material. The title of the material is Gender Analysis in English Textbook. Okay, before going to the material discussion, as we know, gender has become a topic of social analysis and is currently being discussed in this course. Okay, the first material will be discussed about what is the definition of textbook. The definition is a book that contains descriptions of materials about certain subjects or fields of study, which are arranged systematically and have been selected based on certain goals, learning orientation, and student development to be systematic, according mostly 2010. So we can understand Textbooks are one of the learning media in schools. This is really needed to support the teaching and learning process. Although now is the modern era where when everyone uses electronic media and the internet as the main source, it cannot be denied that the use of textbooks is still necessary. And then textbooks are the main source for the world of education, which plays an important role in teaching and learning process. Okay, that is the definition of textbook. Okay, next is what is gender analysis? Okay, the first is examines the difference in the life of women, men, girls, and boys in society, and the related difference in life experience, priorities, skills, abilities, needs, and issues. This means that gender analysis is an analytical process that is used to find out the roles of women and men related to what they do, and also gender analysis is a process to find out who does what, who has what knowledge, who controls what, and who is involved in what activity. Second is provides us with the understanding of overall gender relation in a given society or community. This means that gender analysis is considered a new critical analysis that focuses its attention on social relations between men and women, especially on structural and system injustices caused by gender. The third is third slide on underlying cause of the equities between women and men. So therefore, the gender analysis tool can be understood as a concept that is used to identify the injustices behind the difference in the social relation of men and women. Okay, the next material is about gender roles. According Reves and Beden 2000, gender is defined as social determined ideas and practice of what it is to be female or male. Second, according Blackstone and Lorber 2003, gender roles shape different kinds of feeling, consciousness, relationship, skill ways of being that can be labeled as feminine or masculine. Okay, from several, according to how many gender roles experts closely intertwined with cultural and the different levels of power that males and females hold in society from which a set idea about appropriate gender behaviors that govern belief of males and females are constructed accordingly. Okay, this is gender issues and education. The first is access. What is meant by the aspect of access is educational facilities that are difficult to achieve. Next, building gender perspective education in schools. It means if the school chooses a path not only to become a perspective or a buffer of values, but to encourage productive minds by collaborating with the needs of the times, then it is one of the tasks of the school not to allow gender justice to take place, which has been neatly wrapped up in false consciousnesses that have developed in society. Teacher or educator as pillar must be sought to gain access to the basic of knowledge and gender education first, to open their minds and conscience to the existence of this problem. The next is benefit and mastery. This means that education is not just a learning process, but it is one of the resource for all knowledge. Therefore, it is an effective instrument of value transfer, including values related to gender issues. Thus, education is also a means of formal cultural socializations, including in school. Regardless of that male students are always placed in more decisive positions, for example, leading student organizations, class presidents, and etc. This saw that gender gaps appear in the learning process in school. Next is it education looks at gender. Article 26 of the Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has the right to receive teaching. Teaching must enhance mutual understanding, mutual acceptance, and a sense of friendship between all nations. In this regard, education is actually not only considered instead as a main element in effort to educate the nations, but also as a product or social construction. Thus, education also has a role in the formation of gender relations in society. The next is participation. Aspect of participation which includes factors in the field of study and education statistics. In our society in Indonesia, where there are a number of traditional cultural values that place the main task of women in the domestic arena, girls are often somewhat hindered from attaining broad opportunities to undergo formal education. Must take precedence for school are boys. This is generally associated with a man's duty when he is an adult and married, namely that he must be the head of the household and the breadwinner. The last is towards gender equality in education. Efforts to stop gender bias in all aspects of life include meeting the practical needs of gender. The main strategy toward gender equality in education is providing access to quality education, especially basic education, equally for boys and girls, but through school education and out of school education, providing access to equal education for adults who cannot attend school education, increasing the professions of literacy education service for the adult populations, especially women, improve coordination, information and education in order to prioritize gender-oriented education and institutional development of educational institutions both at the central and regional levels regarding gender-oriented education. Encouraging men and women to change the Enlightenment traditions, namely attitudes based on reasons, nature, humans, in order to obtain equality of freedom and mutual progress regardless of gender. Okay, the next is gender issues in EFL textbooks. Gender representation in EFL textbooks had not issues such as the number of males and females, occurrence in teaching materials, male firstness, noun and pronoun system, and discourse of gender roles. For example, the meaning of he and she, where he always comes first, or Mr. and Miss. The occurrence of males is in most EFL textbooks indicates women's invisibility in literature and media, which should be the primary concern for educators and publishers. Okay, the last material is about gender stereotype. So gender stereotype is defined as the generalizations or simplistic idea about the gender role. It can happen when there is one gender between male or female treats unfairly and feels discriminated. Okay, the conclusion from this discussion is that gender equality and justice in education is becoming increasingly urgent. Access to education for women and women must get equal opportunities. Girls as well as boys must have the right or opportunity to go to higher educations. Gender attitudes needs to be translated in real action in the form of a responsible liberation movement. Encouraging men and women to change the Enlightenment traditions, namely attitude based on reason, nature, humans, in order to obtain equality of freedom and mutual progress regardless of gender. Okay, that's all I can explain from me, and I hope you all can understand this material and can help you. So I hope this video can help you, everyone. Okay, that's all from me. More or less, I apologize. Lastly, I say thank you very much for your attention, and I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.